New leads 2022, right? What real estate investors can do to generate leads using social media. And then I despise like those goofy TikTok videos, right? People dancing, doing all that stuff. I don't like that. I like business. I'm direct, and I'm gonna show y'all how you can get leads from social media the right way today. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to run a successful social media campaign. Today we're going to talk about Facebook specifically. You should be able to take this presentation, take some of the resources that I give you, and go run a campaign. I'm going to tell you how you can get access to like some of the recordings and stuff like that. Me and Dan were working on some stuff so you can get access to recordings and different resources. We're trying to come up with a membership that you can pay for. Normally, I don't teach this presentation in this market because I'm training my competitors. I'm about to show y'all exactly what I do to get business and get leads into my business. So I am not going to be overly generous with sharing the information. So one of the things I want to do is hold back the presentation. And the only way you get that presentation is by becoming a brag member. So let's get started. I'm going to introduce myself really quickly, but right here, you got all the real estate education you need, but you still don't know where to start, right? So the reason why I wrote this like this is because a lot of times, like I do a bunch of events around the nation, right? Even in other countries. And a lot of times people have all the education they need, but speak up. Okay, they have all of the education they need, but they don't know where to apply that education. Where are you going to apply that? You learned everything that you need to learn, but now where do you apply it? You need to apply it to leads. You need to get deals coming in the door, right? So I saw this as a problem for people, and I wanted to take on that problem. I wanted to get paid and taking on that problem too. So we started we have a digital marketing agency. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about that too. So there are some free reports here. These, yes.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Are you able to come just a little bit closer to the mic?
I'm doing the best I can.
Okay.
Let me see. Is that better?
Yes.
A little bit better? All right, so I'll try to speak up and project better. These are these are marketing reports that I've written. These are free. Take those. It's 2 over there. So on the screen, it's only this one, but there's another one, the 11 common social media mistakes. That's all for you to take for free. And I'm gonna tell you how you can get some more resources towards the end of the presentation. Right, all right, so welcome. My name is Jerome Lewis. I am your host for today. Who is this man? I'm from Philadelphia, PA. If you wanna know specifically, I'm from South Philly, right? I like to call myself a silly and serious millennial. I'm a technologist, right? So I'm pretty good with technology. And then I'm an introvert, right? So a lot of times people feel like they have to be some amazing extrovert in order to have success in this business or speak. I'm a cold-blooded introvert. I hate like in-person events, to be honest, but I know I have to do it, right? I have to serve. I gotta serve people. So it's not about me. It's about what I can do for other people. All right, these are some pictures. I know Dan for a long time. Actually, Dan was one of the first people that I met when I got started in real estate. And he has this thing where he built brag. He's like, we want to see more people that are like us. And when I saw Dan at my first real estate meeting, it left an impression on me that I didn't know of until like recently. I started to think about it. I'm like, oh wow, it's somebody that was there that was like me. And we had a conversation. I don't even think he remembers, but I was like, just started wholesaling. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm wholesaling. Because then I'm gonna do the wholesale, then I'm gonna do the flips, and then I'm gonna do the buy and hold. That's the typical structure that people tell you to do. He was like, you don't gotta do that. But I had already paid for the coach, so I continued with the wholesaling. So I continued wholesaling, and that's kind of what got me here today. So a little bit about me, that's my story. In this presentation, you're gonna see like those little, like you see links and videos, those are emoji. You're gonna see that stuff because these slide presentations, when I present, I'm not only lecturing. This is, you're gonna be able to take a resource and you're gonna be able to use this stuff. So those are links that you're gonna be able to click on and learn more about me, learn more about the presentation, and do what you need to do, right? So I told you about my personality. My personality is introvert. I am a cold introvert, but you also have like behaviors, right? So DISC is a behavioral assessment, and it tells how you interact in business, right? So I'm a high D. That means I'm about results. All I care about is the bottom line, right? I'm not the friendliest, they say, but I will get you results. And then the C is, I forget what it's for, but it means I'm very detailed, right? So these are my strengths. I'm result oriented, very detailed, and I'm an implementer. I'm really good at implementation. Also a real estate investor. I run a marketing agency, as you all know. People always ask me, what do you do? We can do like everything. We run an agency, we can do just about anything. And if you want to learn more about me, like personally, my website is jeromelewis.com. All right, so these are some tips for you to get the most out of this training, right? Remember, I don't just do lectures. So if you have questions, raise your hand. If it's a relevant question, I'll answer it then. If it's coming up later during the presentation, I'll address it then. But these are the tips for you to get the most out of this training. Take screenshots. So if you're on Zoom, do screenshots, right? If you're here, take a picture of the screen with your phone. That's a good way to capture notes, right? The recording and slides. So there will be a recording, and I'm not going to let Dan give this recording out because, again, I'm telling y'all exactly what I'm doing in my business. And if y'all want that recording, you gotta pay for it somehow, right? You gotta pay for it, and that's going to be part of the membership. Links and resources. So remember, like I said earlier, that little link that you see right next to the camera, those are links. So when you collect the slide presentation, it's a guide. You can click on those links. So that means there's a link for you to click on and access like a specific resource. So as an example, on this screen, it says screenshots. That's a screenshot software that I like to use in my business that I recommend. More tips to get the most out of this training. YouTube. So this is, I try to get Dan into this, but this is one of the reasons why I don't like in-person events, right? Because I appreciate them, but YouTube, right? So I like to play around with the speeds on YouTube. And if it's one thing that you leave with today, not even about your marketing, like this YouTube tip that I'm talking about will save you time. It'll cut your time in half. So on YouTube, right? A lot of people get scared to do this, but on YouTube, you can play around with the settings, like the speed. Closer. You can play around with the speed, and you can go up, you can go down. So a lot of times people are like, Jerome, that's a lot of information. You went too fast. Well, if you collect the recording later, you can slow it down, right? Or you can speed it up. Maybe I'll talk too slow for you. But the thing about YouTube is, look, when there's a recording or a training, I watch those things at 2 and 3 times the speed. So if I'm watching it at 2 times the speed, an hour training, that means it's only 30 minutes. And there's this video, that link right there, that YouTube link, that's a video, and it's talking about in detail how you can save yourself time on trainings and watching videos and stuff like that, right? You can't 2 times an in-person event. That's one of my gripes. Like, both have their pros and cons, but you can't do that, right? That right there saves you so much time. You can get so much done by using that trick, that YouTube trick, playing with the speed. And it's some very practical stuff. It sounds scary, but you graduate, and then, you know, it'll change your life. Again, so be engaged and be involved. The best way that you learn is to be engaged. Don't just sit back and listen. Don't just take notes. If you have a question, raise your hand. Talk with me, talk to the speaker, ask questions. YouTube, and so I have a YouTube channel where I share most of the training and most of the tips. You can collect the slides. I'll tell you how you can get access to that. And I also run a Facebook group. It started off as a social media mastermind, but now it's real estate marketing implementation. All right, so these are some stats that I just generally like to share about social media. It would be a good idea for you to screenshot or take a picture of that slide. So be engaged, be involved. These are some stats. This is why you want to use social media in your business. Like, social media increases your business. If you're using social media, you're guaranteed to get more business if you're doing it correctly, right? I'm not talking about the goofy TikToks. I'm talking about using real social media, right? So this is a stat. I'm a real estate instructor. I teach like agents like every week. And this is just a good stat for anybody that's a licensed realtor. It's the lead generation is the top tool for realtors. It's the top lead generation tool. All right, so let's get into the presentation. Enough of that housekeeping. You already know what this is. Let's get into the presentation. So before we start, does anybody have any questions? No questions, perfect. All right, so In order for us to proceed, we gotta do some groundwork. We gotta lay down some ground rules, and we're going to talk about marketing, because a lot of times people get confused on what marketing is. And in order to define marketing, we're going to talk about first what marketing is not. So, right, marketing is not primarily about you. Right? When you're doing marketing, you're doing all this branding and stuff like that. You want to be cool. Marketing is not about you. Marketing is only about you and the respect of what you can do for someone else. That's the only time that you matter in your marketing. Your marketing absolutely does not matter about you. It's about your customer. And marketing is not something that you do one time. Marketing is a constant process. It's a constant activity. So this is what marketing is. Marketing is the process or activity, right? It's not something you do one time. It's not something you do, oh, I made a post and that's it. No, you do it constantly. It's a constant process, right? Advertising, drawing attention to a product or service in a public medium. So when we're posting this stuff and we're doing stuff on social media, that's advertising. We have a lot to go through today, so I'm going to be going fast. If you have any questions or you need me to slow down, say something, right? We got a lot to go through. So these are, when you're trying to understand marketing, right, it can be very confusing. And the way that what I found to be the easiest to understand marketing is to break it up into 3 phases, right? I call this the simplified approach to marketing. And those 3 phases this is the least confusing way to think about it, right? You got some people, oh, you got 5 phases, 7 phases, multiple phases, 3 phases, right? We want to keep it as simple as possible. So phase 1 is lead generation. Phase 2 is lead conversion, right? Lead conversion is where you work on that relationship, you work on converting and getting that person to buy, right? But then after you convert them, you got retention and referrals, right? People love the retention and referrals, but they don't like to do the work there, right? There's still work to be done in the retention and the referrals, right? So a lot of times we get in this business, I don't have the exact stats or the slide, but lead generation is like 10 times more popular than lead conversion and lead retention and referrals. So a lot of times we're sleeping, and inside that report, it reports more on the importance of lead conversion and lead referrals. But a lot of times we do lead generation and we stop there. We call it one-step marketing. That's not all you do. You need to work on the conversions, and you also need to work on the retention and referrals. Like once you have them as a customer, you want to get more business from them because they can introduce you to other people. All right, so we're going to qualify what is a lead. And first we're going to talk about what a lead is not. So this is a reality check about leads. Every conversation that you have is not a lead. People on the list somewhere that you're not using, those are not leads, right? So what is a lead? There are 2 important aspects of leads that I want you to understand. Number 1, a lead is a prospect or customer that has shown interest. They've shown interest in something that you're offering or something that you're doing. It's not every conversation that you had, like we talked about in the prior slide. And then this is how I like to qualify leads. You've collected their information. So if you have their information and you can follow up with them, then you consider that to be a lead. Underneath these leads, right? Because a lot of times we, as professionals, we can detach ourselves. We call them leads, and we forget that leads are actually, they're not a thing. Leads are people. So it's important to understand the social and humanistic aspects of these people, right? A lot of times, oh, I'm getting all these leads are trash. It's not the leads are trash, they're people, right? We're irrational. So we have to understand that there are people and there's a process. We got to take them through a process, right? The better we can understand and provide value to those people, right? I emphasize people, the better your results will be. So they are leads, right, in theory, but also understand that they're people. All right, so this is a lead qualification story. So I had this student that I was working with from one of my classes, and I asked him, I said, what's going on? How's your business? And I said, how many leads are you working on? And he gave me the story of, he's like, oh, I just came from with my mother, and her friend was interested in buying or selling a house. And I said, okay, that's cool. How many leads are you working on? He was like, just that one. And I'm like, well, how is that a lead? You don't have any way to follow up with that person. That doesn't really qualify as a lead. So I wanted to share that story really quickly because it's important that you collect information, right? Just because somebody said they were interested or you had a conversation, you don't have a way to follow up. That is not a lead. Okay, so what is lead generation? Definition and qualification of lead generation. So lead generation is, again, like we talked about with marketing, lead generation is an ongoing process, right? It's not something you do one time. Ongoing process or activity that brings interested prospects into your business or funnel process, right? After you establish, so another issue that people have is they don't have a clear offer. They don't have a clear offer, product, or service, right? After you establish your clear offer, your service or your product, that's when your marketing starts, right? When you have something clear that people can understand and that you can give to people, that's when your marketing starts. All right, so these are some ways to make your marketing ongoing, right? A lot of times people, they get on social media, hey, I don't know, it's confusing, I'm posting, I don't know what's going on. There are different ways you can market and keep your marketing going. So you got time and effort, right? Remember I was taking shots at those TikTok people? That's what they're typically doing. They're doing time and effort, they're creating those videos, they're doing all that dancing, they're putting a lot of time into their lead generation. You don't see me doing that stuff because I don't have to. I use a different method, right? Time and effort. You got budget and systems. So this is what I like to do, right? I do some time and effort, but mostly I like to do budgets and systems because I'm a business person. I like business. I like to conduct and attract business, right? I don't want to be silly. I don't want to be dancing and using filters. I want business.
You really
So,
don't like dancing, do you?
no, I don't. I don't like it because I'm gonna show y'all, like, it's so trendy, but it doesn't get business. I get a lot of people, they come in and they're like, yeah, I'm doing all, and they're doing so much and they're not getting any business from it. No business because they're so caught up in those trends. So ideally what you wanna have is a hybrid, right? You wanna do some time and effort, you wanna do some budget and systems. If I was gonna, it also depends on where you are. So if you ain't got no money, then maybe you gotta do the dances, you know, sell your soul. But if you got some money, then you do some budget, you do budgets and systems. All right, so these are some reasons why you need lead generation. So in my experience, right, millennial, I'm not gonna tell you my exact age because people, I don't know, get weird about that. But in my time living and being on this earth, like straight selling, it never worked. Like, hey, do you wanna do business? It never worked. People are looking for value, right? So customers want value, your lead generation can provide that value. Lead generation sells for you, right? So you don't have to convince. When you do your leads, you position yourself properly, your lead generation marketing sells for you. Lead generation can, and most of the time, this is what you want to do these days because everybody, like, let's just say we're all real estate investors. We all offer the same service. It's like, well, why do I pick you, right? You have to determine what's it's called a USP. Right? Well, you can educate and inform with your lead generation and marketing, right? Why is your process different? Why should I work with you? Your marketing does that. Lead generation brings business to you, so you're not chasing those leads. You can still chase some leads if you want to, but if you lose lead generation marketing, you don't have to chase those leads, right? I'm not a big proponent of chasing leads. I might do once in a while, but I don't chase leads, even in like dating. I don't chase, I track. Lead generation marketing, it brings predictability. It gives you clear goals and objectives. I'm big on, like y'all saw my profile, like high D, high C. I care about numbers and results. Lead generation marketing gives you numbers and results. What does the balance sheet say? How many leads, how many conversations did you have? Not how good you look when you was dancing, right? So structure. And then lead generation helps with your ACE, right? It's called your authority, your credibility, and your expertise, right? So when you build your marketing correctly, it does all of this for you. All right, so now we're going to get into the more technical aspects, and we're talking about social media, right? And we're going to talk about which social media, right? So these are some of the most popular social media platforms you got. And I got these two listed because a lot of times people don't understand. Google owns YouTube. Google is not necessarily social media, but they have YouTube. And YouTube is not social media either, but they have a social media aspect to it. So these are the most popular platforms that you see generally online, right? Then you got Meta. It's called Meta now. We mostly know it as Facebook, but they changed their name. The parent company changed the name. So you got Meta, Instagram, and Facebook. These are basically all of the same company. In 2012, Facebook purchased Instagram. So a lot of times, I'm gonna show you a slide later, a lot of times people try to do like just Instagram, they get caught up in that trend again. And it's like, it doesn't make a lot of sense if you understand how to do your marketing correctly. And I'm gonna show you in more detail on one of the slides. You got TikTok, LinkedIn, Bing, and that's it, right? So the Bing is Microsoft's version of Google. So yeah, Google, they basically control like 95% of the internet. You got Bing and the other ones, let's say 90. You got Bing and the other ones competing for the rest of the space, but they're still effective because certain people never go to Google. You know, you got, not trying to be funny, but boomers, they never change their settings and they just do everything on Bing or something like that. So Yahoo is another one. I can't think of any more. But so these are the most popular social media networks, like in terms of, so a lot of times, and Dan, we had this conversation before too, a lot of times people get caught up in the trends, right? And you can see the numbers here, like Facebook and YouTube clearly jump out over Instagram and TikTok. And I pulled this from, I think this stat is from Statista. And like I said before, these links, these are all links so you can click and reference them later when you collect the slides. But easily, there's a much larger crowd on Facebook and YouTube. Like, you go all the way down to Instagram, it's about half. So I was like, is it worth it? Should I be spending all my time there? Maybe, maybe not. Especially when you can do, if you do it on Facebook, it's already going to go over to Instagram. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but people do it. And I'm be honest, I appreciate it because they give me more success in their failures. Beware of your audience. Just because it's trendy doesn't mean you should be using it. So this graph again, right here, you see that huge gap. You got YouTube, 81% of adults are using YouTube. 69% of adults, right? We're talking about adults. We're not talking about trends. Adults are using Facebook, and then all the way down to Instagram, 40% of adults are using Instagram, right? TikTok, all the way down, it's at 21%, and I don't know the other one, but the point I wanted to make here is that significant gap. And it doesn't make sense to just do Instagram or focus primarily on Instagram when you can use Facebook as the driver and also still hit Instagram.
I have a question.
Yes, question.
That's a stat just on usage. Is there a stat on sort of on the business conversion of either sites, which one is best? So maybe there's more adults on Facebook, but you actually sell more things on Instagram. Is there anything that's like that?
I'm pretty sure there is, and that's what I looked up, and this was what I found. I don't know exactly what stat, but I'm pretty sure easily Facebook and YouTube they're older. The Facebook and the YouTube demographic, they're older, right? So this perfect transition. People say age is nothing but a number. I'm not sure about that, right? So who has money? Older people. Right? Us young people, the younger people don't have money. I was 30, 20 years old. I didn't have no money. I couldn't afford anything. Older people, and then we're in real estate. So we're looking for houses. Who owns the houses? Older people, right? Most of the time, older people owns those houses. So you can go on and you can do your goofy dances on TikTok and Instagram, but they don't own houses. So you're gonna get all those views. They don't own houses. They don't have credit cards. So you have to keep that in mind. It's important to understand your demographic and your audience. Right? This is just another stat. Like most of your business is going to come from these older people. Like there's a huge gap there. All right, so Meta, right? I'm still getting used to that. Meta and Facebook versus Google and YouTube, which is better? So people always ask, which one is better? There is no better. Both have pros and cons and both work. You need to employ both in your business. You can win with either one. You can do just straight up Facebook, or you can do just straight up Google, and you can have a lot of success. So me, I started off with only Facebook. I did only Facebook for a couple of years, and I got all my deals, all my leads straight from Facebook. I've since expanded to Google, but you can have success with either one. You just pick one and you stick to it. Neither is better, right? They both have pros and cons. All right, so Google, the difference between Google and Facebook is, just go right here. Google is intent-based, right? Intent-based search. So when somebody's on Google and YouTube, they have a specific intent in mind of what they're trying to do. So when you go to Google and YouTube, you're looking for something very specific and it's relevant to what you're searching for. So that's intent-based and search-based marketing. Typically, these leads in this lead generation process is more expensive, right? It's more expensive, but they say it's a higher quality because the intent is there. Google, right? However, it is more complex. in my experience, is harder to learn compared to Facebook. Facebook, right, and Meta, I'm still getting used to the name, but I'm on an interchange. Facebook and Meta, that is disruptive-based marketing. And what that means is there is no intent. There's really no intent. There's like interest. And when you're on Facebook and you see people trying to do their goofy TikTok, trying to catch you with their attention, the purpose is they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to disrupt your experience to get your attention. That's what disruptive-based marketing is. That's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's most of those platforms. Google, Bing, YouTube, those are more intent and search-based. On Facebook, one of the benefits is, like I was talking to Dan, so me and Dan, we just ran a campaign, right? And when you're using this disruptive marketing, you get more frequency and more time. I've seen Dan, I don't know how many times I've seen Dan this week from the ad that he's running. So you get more time, more frequency, and you're pressing upon your people more when you use disruptive-based marketing. It's also more expensive. So this, Google, I forgot to mention, Google is PPC. It means you pay per click. Every time someone clicks on that link or that marketing, you pay for it. Well, with disruptive-based marketing over here on Facebook Meta, you pay per impression. And typically you're paying per 1,000 impressions. They call it PPM, which is pay per mil, which is 1,000. So Facebook is easier to learn, and that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on Facebook because it's typically the easiest platform to learn, right? People are going to say, oh, the YouTube and the Google leads are so much better, but it's more complicated. It's harder to learn, right? All right, so Meta/Facebook. What is Facebook? Most of us know what Facebook and what Meta is. It's a social media platform. They have 2.5 billion monthly users, right? We saw that in the graph statistic. They own Instagram. So this is why I tell people you gotta be careful not to focus on just Instagram, because and you're gonna see later on in slides, when you do Facebook, you can automatically attack Instagram. It's just a simple checkbox. And then social media. So people, oh, I don't like social media because people are on there doing, so it's not about you. Remember we talked about our marketing? It's not about you, it's about your customers. So you might not like social media, you might not like Instagram, you might not like that stuff, but customers and prospects are there waiting, right, to do business with you. So it's not about you. Keep in mind with your marketing, understand that your marketing is not about you. All right, so why Meta/Facebook? Because we saw in the graphs, it is the largest and it is the most popular social medium out there, right? Google beats it in traffic, but Google is not really a social media platform. Google is a portal that leads to everything else. So Facebook is still the largest and the most popular. Facebook is the easiest platform that you learn marketing and advertising. It's also the most familiar. Competition. So on Facebook, right, on social media, there are a lot of big companies competing, right? They understand, I guess they try to get into the TikTok sometimes, but they understand when you use paid advertising. When you start using paid advertising and you start using correct marketing, you can now compete with those companies because you are a person, right? You can be more social compared to those big companies. So Facebook, it gives you a good opportunity to compete and eliminate those big competitors. All right, interest targeting. So when we get a little further along in the presentation, I'm going to show you interest targeting and the information that Facebook, most of these companies have about us. It can be scary sometimes, but we can also use it to our advantage. Groups. So one of the reasons why Facebook is so effective is because of groups. And groups have, in marketing, right? People are like, all right, where do I start marketing? How do I market? Where do I start? One of the most effective things you can do in marketing is find, so they say, like if you're selling hot dogs, right? Is right here, find a starving crowd, right? So as an example, on Facebook groups, let's just say we were interested in selling a course to real estate investors. Well, guess what? There are several Facebook groups around real estate investors. And we can go directly in those groups and market to those groups. We don't have to build an audience. Facebook already has that audience built for us. The other platforms, they don't have these groups with people that have similar interests. So this is another reason why I picked Facebook over all of the other platforms. Those people are already gathered looking for that specific information in those groups. And you can also, one of the strategies that we do, we call it our digital mayor concept. You can also build your own group, right? So you can build your own group on how to, I don't know, best take care of your house. And leads can come from that group. So you can't really build that group or that community on the other platforms. And then one of the things I like about Facebook is I like video marketing. I'm big on video marketing because many stats you'll see later, but it's forgivable, right? You don't have to be this high professional. Like on YouTube, when you get on YouTube, I appreciate YouTube too, but when you get on YouTube, you're competing. Like Lillian back there, she started her YouTube after me. Your website. You can have just a basic website or you can have a CRM. Those are links that I recommend for website services that typically work seamlessly with the Facebook advertising. Then landing page. So a lot of times when we're marketing, we send people directly to our catch-all landing page with all these call to actions and all these different things to do, right? And a confused mind says no. So when you're sending people directly to your website with all these things on what to do, about me, how to contact us, homepage, blog, they're confused. And that cuts down your lead generation and your conversion significantly. So you want to have a website and you want to have landing pages that have one specific objective, right? So as an example, if we're running ads for lead generation for people that want to sell their house, that's the only thing we want to give them the opportunity to do. We don't want to send them to a website where they're about us, about me. We don't want to do that. We want to send them one specific objective, and that's what landing pages are for. You need a website because you need to have a privacy policy, right? They used to allow you to type one up, but now you can't even do that. You need a privacy policy on your website so you can tell Facebook and any platform what you're doing with the customer's information. You're collecting very sensitive information. Real estate is sensitive. They want to know what you're going to do because they want to make sure you're not discriminating. So you need to let them know within your policy how you're going to use that information, right? Next, and these are all assets that you need outside of Facebook. This is not including Facebook yet. Then you need a marketing budget, and your marketing budget can be daily, monthly, or lifetime. I want to take a break here. Anybody have any questions?
So how do you feel about treatment?
How do I feel, or what I think?
Either or. What do you think?
About what is it?
Either or, because what you were saying as far as the
Tree link?
page, yeah.
What's tree link?
Linktree?
Oh, Linktree? Linktree is just a link tree, kind of. I would not, my issue with Linktree is when I see people do Linktree, they have too many call to actions. You can't give people too many call to actions. They get confused. Just one will cut the conversion rate at least 50%. Like when you go from one call to action to two, it cuts it at least 50%. So if you use Linktree and there's one call to action, that's great. But a lot of times when I see people Linktree, the whole purpose is to have all of those links in there. And we don't want to do that. We want to give them one specific objective. Are you going to buy it or not? Are you going to send me your information or not? Let them make one decision. And then later on, you can ask them other stuff. Yes.
So how do you pay for Facebook, the CPM thing?
How do you pay?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
you said we're paying for that. So I'm trying
Yeah, you pay, you put in your credit card information basically, and I think I'll be able to show you that a little bit further. Yeah, you pay, yeah, I got some stuff in here where you can see like how many leads you get and stuff like that when you get further on. So I'll stop and I'll make sure I address your question then. All right, so Facebook assets, this is what you need. So a lot of times people get in there and they start marketing incorrectly. They go right to their, what do you call it? Their Facebook business page and they go like boosting posts. When we're trying to run like effective and correct lead generation and marketing, these are the assets that we need. We need that business manager, right? The business manager will help you manage your business, right? And some of us, like Dan talks about, some of us are not only real estate investors, some of us are real estate agents, right? So you got a whole different business as a real estate agent. Then like me, I got several businesses. I got an education business, right? I got a marketing business. I got a real estate investor business. I manage all of my businesses in that business manager. So I'm not cross-pollinating the different leads and making it irrelevant. Business page, you need a business page. Most of us know what that is, but you establish your business page because a lot of times the platforms, they want to make the experience great for the end user. And they don't want to shove like advertising down their face, down their throat without them knowing. So when you establish a business page, that helps better that experience. So you typically need a business page. People go on and you can share, you can do that stuff. You can let people know what you're doing in business, but ideally you want a business page. There's also benefits to the business page where you can track and follow up with your leads and your conversions. So ads manager, that's where you manage your ads. A lot of times people don't even know there's an entire back end for you to manage your ads. And then the pixel, so the pixel is powerful. The pixel is, a lot of us, I'm pretty sure most of us, we all got smartphones and devices. The pixel is what allows you to follow up with people. And the way it works is, a quick example I always like to use is the Amazon example. You go to Amazon and you search for, I don't know, one of these, right? What is this thing called? To hold your tea. Well, when you pop over to Facebook, they're showing you advertising for this. That's what the pixel does. And you can do the same thing when you set your assets up correctly. So the pixel will also find people that are similar to what your objective is and market to them on Facebook. So the pixel is highly effective. What you want to do is you want to install that pixel ASAP because it's a free tool, right? It's a free tool and it's going to start to build the leads and the audiences that you want on your social media. The pixel helps with remarketing and retargeting. So in that report, we talk about remarketing and retargeting and how important that is. So people make the mistake of doing one-step marketing. You gotta work on the conversions. Most of your lead conversions comes from 6, 7, 8 touches. You can't just tell somebody, you can't hit a lead one time and expect them to do business with you. In addition to this, we're in real estate. This is the biggest financial transactions of most people's lives. So they're not ready to do business immediately. They're people. We got to warm them up. We got to remarket, retarget. We got to let them know. We do that with the pixel. That helps with remarketing and retargeting. It also learns your audience so you can start to build out like lookalike audiences. And it just generally, it helps your ads perform better. Zoom, how we doing on Zoom? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? All right, so just install the pixel quickly. You install the pixel inside of the header code of your website. And people always ask me, how do you do this? It's going to vary with each website, right? But basically, you might need a tech person, you might not. You install that code inside your header, and you want to install it ASAP so Facebook can start communicating back and forth with your website and helping you generate more relevant leads.
So, Jerome,
Yes.
You install that pixel in the back end of your website, you're saying, like?
Yeah, I guess you could call it the back end. It's it would go inside of the, man, can you mute? It would go inside of the header. Yeah, header like stores it stores relevant information to your website, like data, metadata that's not really relevant to what the customer will see, but it is relevant to you on the back end. So, yeah. And then This says a tutorial. I got a tutorial in there that helps you install that pixel. But again, it varies with each site. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. This is the big mistake that most people make. They go and they create their business page, then they say, I want to do some advertising, because on Facebook, they're generally showing you, hey, boost this post, get it out to more people. This is what they're showing you, but you won't know to go do some other advertising because this is what they're shoving down your throat, right? So most people, they go and they do this and they're like, oh my God, it didn't work. The thing about boosting is it's not really advertising, it is boosting. So all you're doing is, all boosting does is take an existing post that you have already done and boost it up some more. Like there's no call to actions. You can't really tie anything to it. So this is why boosting fails sometimes. Like it works for, yes, it works for the effect of getting more people to see or engagement, but it doesn't, it doesn't work towards your objectives in marketing. So you're going to see the objectives a little bit later, but Facebook has generally 11 objectives, and boosting doesn't allow you to tap into those objectives like the Advanced Ad Manager does.
So boosting is different from advertising.
Yeah, basically, boosting is different from advertising. Dan, you had a question?
I was going to ask you, is there any reason why you would boost the post? Is there any advantage to it at all?
So the quick and dirty is it would be quicker, right? If you just need to get something out and you want attention or engagement, do it that way. Facebook they have been changing it to be more like the Advanced Ad Manager, but it's still not as effective and as powerful as the Advanced Ad Manager. So, yes.
So with boosting, does it go to people that are not following you, or it only boosts to your followers?
It can go either way. It depends on what you select. So they give you the option to select boost to just the people on your page or find new people. Is up to you. All right, so this is a stat that I want to share, right? It's so this is social media. A lot of times people, we get too caught up in our business and we forget about the social aspects, the humanistic aspects of social media. Social media, so be authentic, right? Be human. Like understand and remember these are people that you're interacting and talking to. People want to work with people. So one of the reasons why my advertising is so effective is because I'm not afraid to show up as a person. I show up as a person. I'm not just a company. I run a company, but I'm a person, right? And people want to work with me. People, oh my God, I saw your thing. I want to work with you because you were different, right? One of the things that I do differently is I use video, right? Less than 10%. Well, I'm an agent too, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with investors. Less than 10% of people are using video. So I automatically give myself an advantage by using video in my business. Automatically, I put myself in the top 10%, top 20%, let's just say 20%. I automatically do that when I employ video marketing because so many people are afraid to do that video marketing. Yeah, so I get friend requests all the time. This is weird. Like people hide behind their logos in their business. They're trying to be just a business. And it's just really creepy. So don't do that. That's a big mistake. And this emphasizes the most important aspects of social media, right? The most visited page for every website is the About Me and About Us page. People want to know who they're working with. They want to know who the people are behind the company. People spend more time on that page than any other page on your website. They want to know who you are. All right, so these are web traffic and go.
So how does that fit in with the entry model where you're saying if all you want someone to do is put in their information because they want to sell a house? Is that considered, I guess, confusing or giving them more than one option?
When you say, what do you mean by link tree model?
So someone had asked a question about Linktree, and you said your issue with Linktree is there's just too many touch points.
Yes.
For a person who's visiting your website. So I guess, is it just having the About Me or About Us plus the one action that you want?
I got you. So sometimes we think that people don't do their own research, right? Sometimes we make that assumption. People do their own research. And they might see your ad, they might not click on it, or they go start their research journey. And when they start that research journey and they look for, like my company is Lewis Invest. They go look for Lewis Invest, they're gonna look for my About Me page, right? And they're gonna do the research on me and find out who I am as a person, right? So it's not just in that platform, it's when they go outside. They're researching and finding out. We all research here. I'm pretty sure we all do Google, you know, trying to find out. Customers do the same thing. I don't know, sometimes we forget, but yeah, they go do research on you. And that's the page that they visit. They want to know, who are you?
That's like the first thing I do. Like,
Exactly. Who is it? Right. I'm gonna Google that person. Right. Yeah. And me, I'll do the same thing. If I don't see you on Google or social media, you're not getting my business. Period. Because it's other people that's more trustworthy. It's more tracking. I can, you know, something go wrong, I will report them. So,
Scam by it.
exactly. Like, you don't even exist. You want to do business with me? No, you don't even exist. I don't trust you. I'm a millennial. We you know. So.
Believe the internet.
Exactly.
if they had a TikTok page, which was
Oh my God. So I don't know, man. Maybe. So traffic temperatures. Traffic temperatures are. I'm bringing this up because I generally try to break marketing down into like 3 phases. And sometimes, like when we're taking a customer or a prospect or a lead through a journey, we forget about the temperatures, right? So these are the traffic temperatures, right? Cold traffic is traffic. There are people that have not heard or interacted with your business or brand before. So a lot of times when we're doing marketing, most of what we're doing, this is the lead generation phase. Most of what we're doing is like we're generating leads, cold traffic. That's what we're doing. And this is kind of where we stop. Right? It's like, oh my God, it's not working. We stop there, right? We don't have the remarketing, we don't have the retargeting. Reasons why they click is because they're intrigued. But this is one phase, this is one step, right? We got to continue following up. And that's when we get into the warm traffic, right? Warm traffic, they've interacted with you before. So all they got to do is see your lead one time or your advertising one time and they become warm because now they're aware of who you are and where you are, right? They interacted with you in the past in some form or fashion, right? They've been recommended by someone who they like or trust. Then we got hot traffic, and this is usually loyal people that just want to work with you because they know you, like you, or somebody told them to. They recognize or understand the value of your product or service. So I'm a hot lead for certain services that I have. Like nobody can convince me to go anywhere else. I'm hot. I'm just going to buy with that vendor all of the time. Now, the reason why I mention traffic temperatures is because when we get into the advanced ad manager, it's set up in a way that you can kind of start to understand why this stuff matters. So these are the temperatures: cold, warm, traffic, cold, warm, hot. And we got the boxes, and I just want to show you the advanced ad manager. When you get back there, this is what it looks like. And this starts to give you a concept of what you should be doing in your lead generation, in your marketing, right? So a lot of times we stop at the blue. We do brand awareness and reach, right? That's what the TikToks, that's what you do. You bring in some awareness, but what's next, right? How do you turn that person into a lead? Well, you got to work on some conversion strategies in the middle. And when we talked about like boosting a little bit, we talk about boosting. Typically, boosting is underneath this engagement phase, right? That's it. It's not, all it is it's increasing engagement. It's not helping you with anything else here. What we care about most as real estate investors trying to get business is this lead generation phase, right? And the thing about each of these is they're all optimized by Facebook for whatever the objective is. So if you want brand awareness, the algorithm is optimized for you to increase your brand, right? If you want lead generation, the algorithm is optimized for you to bring leads into your business. If you want to convert those leads, it's optimized for that, right? And it also helps with, properly allocate your budget. So really quickly, to clarify, like allocate your budget, like brand awareness is going to be much cheaper than lead generation, right? It depends on what your objective is. All right, so now we're getting into the specific ad, and this is exactly what I do in my business. So if you go run this, like I'm training my competitors, that's why we're not giving out this presentation unless you become a member, but this is exactly what I do. This is how I generate, I think it's hundreds of thousands of dollars by now, like Facebook wholesale deals. This is that screen that I showed you, the 3 boxes, the blue, the orange, and the red. This is the campaign level. You go in here, right, and you start creating your ads. Quick shortcut to get there is business.facebook.com, right? We visit that link and it's going to prompt us to set up our business manager, set up our ad manager. It's going to prompt us to set all of that up correctly. One of the mistakes that we make is inside of that 11 social media mistakes pamphlet is special ad category. So a lot of times we real estate professionals don't enable a special ad category. And years ago, like when marketers, they mess up everything, right? We mess up everything. So years ago, we were able to target specific zip codes like Brewery Town or, you know, South Philly, and cut out, you were basically able to discriminate. And Facebook got in a lot of trouble for it, so they had to disable certain things. So you have to enable special ad category when you're doing Facebook advertising for housing, right? There are a couple other special ad categories, but they don't matter to you. What matters to you is housing. Here is where, so basically, this is all what you're going to do. You're going to enable the buying type. The buying types are auction and frequency. I don't really understand the point of frequency and reach. I have my most effectiveness at auction, and I just use that. These are what you see on the screen. These are the 11 objectives. So we went from what we understood was a boost, right, to now we have 11 different objectives. So what are you trying to achieve with your marketing, right? Different people are going to be in different phases and have different objectives in their business, right? And again, we're not only real estate investors, we also have other businesses. So you might have a store, right? You might, I don't know, you might have, you do videography, you might want traffic, you might want video views, who knows? These are different objectives that you can pick. And again, the algorithm is optimized for these different objectives. And again, those traffic temperatures, like that's important to understand. Like it's important to understand so you can understand what you're trying to achieve. Like what phase is your lead in, right? Are they cold lead, warm lead, hot? Then I have video there highlighted because we're going to get into that a little bit later. And then these are the lead ads. So once you have like your assets set up correctly, your websites and stuff like that, you can use, there are several ways you can do it. You can drive them to your website. You can make them call you. There are so many things that you can do. Typically, this is what I do. I use lead ads, right? And I let them do everything within Facebook, right? I do some other stuff, right? We got clients, they do different things, but this is how you have success. You can come right in here and you can just run lead ads. And you don't need to do anything else complicated. So lead ads, these are the methods of lead ads that you can do. I stick to instant forms because I'm a millennial, please don't call me. And then you got chat messages, right? So you can have a lot of success using just instant forms, but some people might prefer to talk on the phone, right? Or some people might prefer to just message on Facebook. You can have success with either, but I typically use the instant form so I can follow it with their lead, right? I don't want you to call me, but I'll call you, right? There's an advantage when you call people. So I use lead forms. From either of these links, right? Your Facebook business page, your business suite, or your advanced ad manager. And then when you're using lead ad forms, you have to agree to a specific, you have to agree to the lead ad terms within Facebook because again, they don't want you to discriminate or collect sensitive information from people. So you can't, they don't want you discriminating, right? So this is what the lead forms look like. So it's a little tough to see when you're sitting in here, but you can collect information from different people, So you can collect their name, email address. This can be very specific. In real estate, you have to be careful, but when you're in your other businesses, you can collect almost any information you want. The only issue here is you don't want to have questions similar to what's already in Facebook. So you can create your own forms and your own questions around lead forms. It froze on me? Okay. Low system resources. All right, so the ad sets is the next phase under, right? And the ad sets is it's the people, right? It's the location, it's who you're going to target. And this is where Facebook gets really powerful. All right, so this is, when you go inside of the assets, you can collect this. Inside, you go, you select your lead method. We already talked about that. You select the page, and this is where you select your budget. Remember, you asked me about how do you pay them. So you generally pay with a credit card. They'll prompt you and ask you for the credit card information that you put in, but you can pick like budget. You can pick daily, you can pick, or you can pick lifetime, right? And so typically what I do, like in my business, right, I'm training my competitors, I gotta be careful. I do $50 a day, and it generates me more than enough business for years. $50 a day is the budget that I use. Some people do less, some people do more, but I'm fine at $50 a day.
Now, the more you pay, the more outreach it makes, more outreach.
That's a fair thing to say. It's the more you pay, the more outreach. Yeah, that's a fair thing. The more you pay, the more frequent your advertising will show, which could also affect the outreach. Yeah, frequency is a better way to put it. Yes.
So that's basically $1,400 a month.
Yes.
And that's cost effective for
Yes.
the business.
It's more than enough business for me. Yes.
So I was gonna ask him later what he said, so what's kind of your ROI when you're spending that amount of money? What do you do?
Over 100%. So, and I have a slide for that because people always ask. That's their favorite question. How much does it cost? How can I spend $1 and get 1,000? So, ads to audiences. So audiences are highly effective, and with this, you can include, you can exclude. That means you can include all women, right? You can't do this in real estate, but if you want to do all women that came to the Bragg event, you can include them and run some kind of bonus. Hey, women's retreat special. You can run advertising to them, or you can exclude them. We're not counting the women. We're going to exclude them out of all of our advertising. You can do that in the audiences. Custom audiences are so powerful. It's so powerful that I had to create an entire video on it. So that's a video link that you want to watch later. I forget how long it is, but the effectiveness of custom audiences is powerful. That's where you can gain a lot of business on Facebook.
My bad. So does that go into ages and groups and all those things?
Custom audiences are basically custom, so it can go into whatever you want, basically. So it can be, if you just want to target people a certain age, you can create an audience around that. If you want to target people that are, just came to the Bragg event, you can do that. Specific to real estate, one of the something that people don't understand and know is that you can upload like lists to Facebook, and this is where you typically upload those lists in a custom audience. So I used to do, what do you call them? Water lists and tax lists. I would get those lists and I would upload them to Facebook and pull leads that way. So that's where, yeah, water lean, tech lean, yeah. Yep. So you can upload lists, or say you got like, I don't know, like they just set prop stream down. Say you still got a list and you want to hit those people, you can upload that list directly to Facebook and start to target them.
They shut prop stream down?
They didn't shut it down, but there's a lot of stuff going on with MLS drama. So yeah, but you can upload all types of lists to your, through the custom audiences. So some people have email lists, right? You can upload your email list and you can start to retarget them, or you can exclude them. It's up to you what you want to do. Lookalike audiences are, you take a custom audience, right? So say we're doing like this Bragg event. This is a list I would upload. I can then say, hey, Facebook, go find me people exactly like the Bragg list that I uploaded and start to market to them. It would create a lookalike audience. And remember those 50,000 data points people try to hide behind or get away from Facebook and advertising, but they got all your information, so it's no escaping it. And they use those data points to build a profile around you and understand what you like and stuff like that.
So they're going to send it to a Facebook profile, not their email?
Yes, it would be Facebook, yes. All right, so this is a video. I'm gonna try to play this video. We're low. It's tough on the system resources, but I want to try to play this video anyway. Just so you can see how much is they have.
Okay, so my objective today is to
show you the detailed targeting. I try to do some screenshots, but it can be really tough to show you through screenshots. So I did this video really quickly, and here I'm in the Facebook. I'm in an ad set on Facebook, and I just want to show you really quickly. So I'm going to bring up, I'm going to come down here, and in this detailed targeting section, I want to show you they can either do suggestions. So these are suggestions based off this event that I selected. This was the event that I was doing for one of my groups. But to show you the effectiveness, I want you to see browse. So I'm going to click on browse here and then show you these three categories, right? And each category will give us different options. So I'm going to click demographics. You can see here, you can target people based off all of this demographic information. Education level, associate's degree, all of that information is there. You can target people based on that information. So let's close down education. Let's go to financial. You can target people based on their income level. That's an option. Let's close that down. Life events, anniversary, birthday, friends of. You can target people based off this. Newlywed, marriage, relationship, job. Parents, you can target parents, new parents, all parents, parents with children, older children, adult children, teenagers. You can target people based off all of that. Let's close parents down. Relationships, relationship status, all of that. Divorce, engaged. All of those things are there, right? There's so much here. Then you got work. You can target people based off their work. Industries, right? You got all those different industries available there. You've got employers, you've got job titles. You can search for these too. And let's close down. So those are demographics, and something like now we're going to show interests. So you can target people based on their interests. What are they interested in? Business and industry. These are all available. Banking, that's underneath business. Design. These are all things underneath interests, right? That was just business and industry. You got entertainment, family relationship. These are all interests that you can target people based off of. Games, live events, reading, TV. It's powerful. A lot of times people don't utilize this correctly. They have all these data points and all this information that you can use. Technology, right? Computers, consumer electronics. So let's close down interest, and then let's go to behaviors, just so you can get a glance. So behaviors, anniversary, consumer classification, expert, I don't really know what that is, mobile device user. All of these are options. You know, this was a big one, politics, right? Likely to engage with conservative content, liberal content, moderate content. You got people's purchase behavior. So engage shoppers, shop, let's target them, right? They got soccer in there, and they even got travel, frequent flyers, just return, right? So you can target people based off all these interests. It's a little difficult to show it in screenshots, so I wanted to put together this quick video so you can see the power of targeting people based off this detailed targeting. All right, so I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the inside. All right, so it was a little hard to see. The Zoom people probably saw a little bit better, but you can target people based on a lot of information within Facebook. Jobs, career, single, relationship status, all type of stuff. You can target that. Yes.
So can you turn this stuff on? Like, let's say the other night I ordered.
Nope. Nope. You don't want them having your information, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't want.
You can.
When
You can. So what would you like to turn off?
So I ordered something online for teas for somebody.
Some what? What is it?
Some hot teas.
Hot
like a
teas.
Tea special box, specialty box. So now all I see up on my Facebook now is these specialty boxes that
Okay. Yeah, you can. So that's also, you can tailor it. So if you're not interested in it, it's hard to show you because it's not live, but usually like you can click on the ad and say, there's a section that says, why am I seeing this ad? You would click on that and you can say, I don't want to see this, and it'll stop showing you. It might take a couple, but it'll stop showing you ads relevant to tea. And one thing I like to do is I like to make my stuff relevant. I make all of my social media, all of my experiences relevant to me. So whatever they show me is relevant to me. People are, oh my God, I didn't want to see that food. I don't see food because I get it out of my feed. I adjust my stuff, right? So they show me relevant ads. They show me stuff that are relevant to my business, relevant to my life. All of my stuff is relevant because I adjust it. So you can change it. And then for anybody else like trying to get out of it, period, the only way you can get out of this stuff is if you go off the grid. That's the only way, right? There's no escaping it. All right, these are some use cases. So we're talking about mostly real estate investing and leads, but these are other use cases, right? So you can target people based on their affinities, right? So, maybe I just want to work with millennials or something like that. Well, I can target all millennials. Maybe I have a tribe. So I have a co-instructor and she teaches yoga, and her tribe, who she markets to, is only yoga people, right? Other use cases, you can build your power team. So like what I talked about before is like, we got all the education we need, and it's like, all right, where do we get these deals and how do we do this stuff? Always in the brag group, hey brag, anybody got a recommendation for a plumber? Well, you can go find your own plumber, right? You don't have to only use this for for real estate. You can go find other things using this stuff. Build your power team, contractors, attorney, inspectors. You actually have more flexibility when you tap into these other things. Real estate specifically is kind of shut down because you can't discriminate, but most of the other industries and most of the other things you can discriminate, right? So you can go, again, build your power team, go find contractors, attorneys, inspectors, electricians, whatever you need, you can start to find those people, build your own custom, whatever you want to do. And other businesses. So I use this not only in my real estate business, I use this for my other businesses as well. So everything that you're learning, you can apply to your other businesses. Special ed category is no discrimination. So all those things that I showed you when I just showed you that video was about 3 minutes. The demographics and the behaviors, you cannot target them because it's discrimination. However, you can still target interests. So interests are still available. And typically these are interests that I find that I use, right? So this is a good to screenshot or collect the slides, right? Because this is how you get the real estate leads. People have these specific interests, right? General real estate interests, right? You can target them. Real estate portal interests. So if they're browsing Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, they have an interest in some kind of real estate or becoming some kind of lead, right? Lender and mortgage interest, and then no interest, right? So you can target people with no interest, right? I got a lot of leads from not targeting real estate specific interests. And these are people that are just sitting on Facebook or browsing, maybe watching TikToks, and it's like, I am actually interested in selling my house. You convinced me to sell my house, so I'm going to do business with you. So that's a strategy that works too. And this link, when you collect these slides, is full of all of this. You can copy templates available for you to use, right? So I'm gonna show you some pictures and some videos and stuff like that. Those are templates that you can use and employ into your business immediately. Ad placements is, this is where you place your ads. So remember I kept talking about, like, why would you just do TikTok when all you gotta do is hit the checkbox on Facebook? Well, this is where you do that inside the ad placement. So all you do is check that box and all your stuff is over on Instagram. So Instagram doesn't make a lot of sense to me. How many leads? So this is what everybody knows. How many leads do you get? How many leads do you get? I don't know. It depends on your budget, right? It depends on your market, depends on your closing ability, the kind of media that you're using. But one of the cool things that you get within Facebook is they give you an estimate. As you're going through and you're doing all of this, they give you estimates of the leads that you can expect based on all the criteria you're putting in. So I typically, like, I have a presentation on marketing math where I teach agents how to come up with lead generation and structure it, right? And all I do is use Facebook. Just use Facebook, go in and pull all of your information in, and you'll see how many leads that you'll get based upon what you're trying to do. So Facebook does that for you. You don't have to guess anymore. These are estimates. So you have now a more calculated guess. And this is just, people are like, well, where does those estimates come from? It comes from a mixture of data that Facebook uses, and this is what they said. This is where they tell you where the leads come from.
These
All
are
right.
cold leads, where you have to work to do the conversion piece.
It depends. It could be cold, it could be warm, it could be any phase. Wait, no, so you're right. No, you're not. It depends, because if you're just running a lead generation, they might be cold. But if you're running a different campaign, when they've already seen your ad, they might be warm. So it depends on what specific campaign that you're doing. And it will adjust, right? When you hit warm, you're not going to get as many leads, but they're going to be more serious, right? So it will change, it will adjust. It depends on where you are in your journey. The actual ad, so I'm going to show you what the actual ad looks like. And most of you should be familiar with this concept, right? The I buy houses, the bandit sign. So these are called the digital bandit signs. We call them online. And this is what I use in my business. I use a variation of all of these. I do some different stuff, but these are some key staples that I use to generate leads, right? You can use these and generate all the business that you need, right? All the business that you need using these basic templates, right? You can improve your video and some of the stuff that I'm talking about, but this is what I use, right? And I generate several leads using this. So one of my colleagues said, "You're giving everything away, man." I said, "Yeah, I know, man." This is the ad copy. So ad copy, inside of marketing, ad copy matters, right? It touches on and addresses emotional points for people. So ad copy can be, it can be daunting and overwhelming, but this is some ad copy that I use that works in my business, right? And in addition to this, we got some templates in here for you. You click on these templates and there's several more. I put these up here because sometimes emoji converts well and sometimes they don't. You have to test it out, right? It depends on who your demographic is. Somebody like me, I don't mind emoji. But you might get somebody like, what is that stuff on there? I don't trust that guy. So, you know. Exactly. So video creative and video media, right? This is one of my favorite things to talk about, man. Video has done so much for me and my business. Why video matters. This is the technical stuff, so you can be highly efficient. Like a quick example is that video that I just did, right? I don't have to explain that thing over and over and over again. I just played a video and it explains it for me, right? Efficiency. Video makes you more relatable. So that was a demonstration and a tutorial video. But you can use like social videos where you're like actively talking and you can connect with people. So I don't know how to explain this. I have a trainer, right, that comes in, he teaches our agents video marketing. He talks about it's something called fusiform or something like that. But our brains cannot register that when we're watching a video that the person is not actually there. So that's why video is so effective. When you put yourself in video, our brain actually thinks that that person is right there. Even though it's a video on a computer, our brain still thinks that the person is actually right there. So it just makes it more relatable, right? Also, that was a social thing, but targeting, right? So video, it gives you better targeting, and it's tough to see for my people in the audience, but you can target based off of how much attention they're paying to your video. So you can target people based on if they watching 75% of a video, they're pretty interested in something that you're offering, right? If they're only watching 25%, they might not be so interested. They might not like you, who knows?
Where do you see this information to how long you watch the video?
This comes in the custom audiences. So you can create a custom audience based off video views, and it doesn't tell you the specific individual because it can't, that's kind of too private, but it will build you a group. So it'll build you a group of 100 people that watch 75% of the brag presentation. It will do that, and you can start to market and target those people based off that. You can't really do that with the other, like just a basic media image, right? You can see if they viewed it or not, but you can't really track how interested they are in that. You can track some more interest in some of the other stuff, like the lead form and stuff like that, but that's in another presentation.
I got another question.
Yes.
Is there a certain length of video you find works best for that? 'Cause obviously, like most people don't want to watch a 10, 15-minute video. Is there like a time frame you think captures somebody's true interest, or if it was just too long?
There's no right answer. So some people like me, people tell me I talk fast, so I talk faster. And people might watch my video, it might be 3 minutes, but it might take somebody else 6 minutes to say that. And they might like me, they might not like the person. So it's gonna vary. Generally, people always, how long should the videos be? Videos need to be as long as they need to be, right? You don't wanna overextend it, but if it's gonna take you 20 minutes to explain what the process is or whatever that is, put the 20 minutes into it. Just do it. So there's no specific length. I guess the best way to say is like, ideally, the shorter it can be, the better. But it needs to be as long as it needs to be, or as short as it needs to be. This is the social This is the social, some more social stuff. So, and I spelled this like this because the way we get to know celebrities, I remember 3 celebrities, right? Kobe, Betty White, and Robin Williams. People were crying all over the internet. I'm like, do you know these people? No, they don't know these people, but they kind of think they know them, because we talked about that, thinking that you know somebody through video. They kind of think they know them because they've been seeing them on TV all of this time. So they have that emotional connection. Your videos can do that, and you can use that in your business as well. So video helps with that. I get this all the time, right? People, oh my God, Jerome, I've been watching all your videos. I feel like I know you, right? I'm like, wait a minute, slow down. Because they call it a parasocial relationship. It's a one-way relationship, but it helps your customer, your prospect, because they feel like they know you, right? They feel like they know who you are by watching your videos, right? I get people contact me, Jerome, I watched all your videos. I'm ready. You don't got to sell me anything, right? We talked about that marketing doing the heavy lifting. I get that all the time. I watched all your videos. I'm ready to go. Tell me what to do, how much I need to pay, what I need to do, what's the process. So I mentioned this statistic earlier, but 80% of people prefer video content. So if you're not using video content, you're missing 80% of the internet, right? You're only focused on that 20%. So start employing video marketing into your business. These are just some different resources for you to click and access so you can understand how to employ video into your strategy, right? Video marketing, so this is an example. This is a quick example. These videos made me tens of thousands of dollars. And these are really, really short videos that I've done in my business. So those are the titles, and I'm just gonna play them really quickly. I think they're all under 30 seconds. So remember that the image that we saw that, I'll use that as a thumbnail. I'm just gonna play that video really quickly.
Jerome, I buy houses in the area. Typically, I'm looking for homes that I can buy, that I can fix up, and sell and make a little bit of profit. I do run a business, so I can't buy every house and I can't offer top dollar for everything, but I do buy houses. If you're interested in potentially selling your house and you're willing to take a little bit of a discount, just reach out to me and we can see if we can come up with a deal that works for both of us. So, and I can, like, one of the things we get caught up on is like writing ad copy. Well, I think, right, with video, we don't have to be as skilled with writing ad copy. We can still say what we need to say and connect with people emotionally. So I let them know I'm looking to buy houses. No, I'm not gonna pay for a price. Like they know the deal. So when they come to me, right, they understand that I'm not paying for a price, but we'll work something out, right? I said all of that in my video. And I let them know why. This is another one. Benefit of selling your house is, one, I can close quickly. So that means whatever date we agree upon, that's the date you'll receive your cash. Number 2 is the cash that we agree upon, that's the net that you'll receive. So there's no commissions when working with me. And number 3, no inspection, so you don't have to pass an inspection in order for me to buy the house. I'm going to buy it in as is condition. So those are 3 benefits of working with me and selling your house to me.
So it's a very humanistic video, right? I'm just connecting with people, explaining the process, right? I'm not salesy. You don't see a bunch of stuff flashing, flying around. It's just me talking, and it's very forgivable. Very forgivable. Like, oh, this guy just talking about buying a house. Like, that's it. That's my video. And it's, like, again, like I said, tens of thousands of dollars from these basic videos. One more.
If you have a house that you're willing to sell that's giving you a headache and that's causing you a little bit of stress, please feel free to reach out to me. I like to buy houses, and typically I like those headache type homes. So reach out to me and let's see if we can come up with an agreement. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. So just very low budget, just a video. I'm just making a video, doing a quick video. I set my camera up and I just talked in the video. Video not even that great quality, but it's working, right? All right, what's going on here?
You have a house.
So this is the this is a quick video that I did on, like, because the ad creation gets a little bit detailed. But if you collect the slides, you can click on this video and you can create the ad. It takes a little bit for me to explain creating the ad, but you can watch it on at your own leisure. All right, so if that's still too much, you still don't understand what's going on, it's like, all right, where do I start? What do I need to do? We teach in marketing, right? We have what's called recon. We call it ad hacking. You can find out what other people are doing. So one of the things people are like, Jerome, you're so smart. I'm not smart, right? I just do what works. What's working out there already. So on Facebook, right, and just about any platform, you can find out what's working already. And the way you do that is you do some recon. So on Facebook, they have what's called the Facebook ad library, and you can go directly in the Facebook ad library and you can find out what other people are doing, right? The Facebook ad library looks like this. You can go in there, you can search for anybody's ads and see what they're doing and what they're employing in their business. Like, you know what, Jerome was talking too fast. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't like his ads. I want to find somebody else that's using these strategies and it's working in their business. You can do that with the Facebook ad library. All right, so we're coming up on the end, right? I had a lot to get through. We're coming up on the end. These are just some quick stats that I like to share because a lot of times people, oh my God, those ads suck, it didn't work. Well, these are some stats, right? We have to remember to follow up, right? So that whole report that we have there, the whole basis, right? I'm writing a book. The whole basis is a lot of times I find, like with my students, with people that come in, they're not following up on those leads. You have to follow up. It's important to follow up. So these are some stats for you to screenshot and utilize and keep in mind when you're running this in your business. We are business owners. We're not just agents or whatever. So these are some frequently asked questions really quickly. Budget, right? Your budget is going to vary. The budget varies. You go in there, like I showed you, put in your budget and see what it's going to do for you. My budget is $50 a day. That's what I use. But some people are in different markets and they use a lower budget. Some people use higher budgets. Go in there and play around with it. Lead quality, leads are leads, right? Not all of them are going to convert. So there's a really good statistic out on social media that I typically share in my class, and you can do really well in business by only converting. The average lead conversion rate is less than 3%, right? So you're getting 1 or 2 leads and you're expecting a lot of business from those 1 or 2. It's not going to work out, right? You need to be up in the hundreds, and you're only going to convert maybe 3% of those. So understand that, and that's going to affect your lead quality, lead quantity. We talked about that. So this one, how soon can I expect leads? The cool thing I like about digital marketing is you can find out immediately. So how soon can you expect leads? Typically, you can get leads the same day. When you start employing this correctly, right? You're going to go in there, put in your budget, find out what's going on. You can get leads the same day, right? If not the same day, you're going to get leads the next day. So this stuff works as long as you employ it correctly. Now, my ROI, people always asking me about my ROI. I don't count it. I don't need to count it because I get more than $1,400 every single month from the advertising. The $50 a day, I only need 2 deals maybe per year, and I automatically cover that. So that's my ROI. It's more than 100%. It's actually in the thousands, and I don't care because I don't care to track it because I'm making more than enough money. Final comments. Facebook and Meta works like all other methods. Follow up and run it like a business, right? We're not agents. We're not just investors. We're business owners. So treat your advertising and marketing like a business. You're a real estate investor, right? So invest in your business. You're an entrepreneur, right? Be willing to invest. Invest in your business, invest in your marketing. And yeah, so that's the end of the presentation. Thank you, right? I appreciate you. This is how you contact me. You see that there? That's my phone number. It says text. Please don't call me, text me, right? So that's my email, my contact, and then I got a course. Go ahead.
Well, I was like, I'm typically
Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Well, I was just going to ask, how do you typically get the leads? Via text, email, phone calls? How do they typically contact you?
Oh, so that's a good question. So inside of Facebook, they have, they'll alert you and show you your leads. That's a good question because I don't have that in there. But depending on how you if you set it up on your website, you're sending them to your website, however your website system is, they'll go in that way. But when you're using lead form strategies that we talked about today, Facebook will alert you and show you the leads within it. And you can then contact them that way. I like to use lead forms so I can call them. There's an advantage to you calling someone versus them calling you. So I like to call other people.
Right.
Yes.
Are you using KV Core with the lead forms, or to go right into KV Core and then auto campaign them like that and reach out to them once?
So on the agent business, I use KV Core. But for the investor business, I use my own website.
Why do you buy the houses as is? And why don't you care if it's inspected or not?
That's just a common thing we do as real estate investors because that's where we make the money. We fix them up and buy them and flip them and all that. So it's a common thing in our industry. Like we buy it up, no headaches. It's common. Nothing new. I'm just copying off of people that work. Any other questions? No questions. Dan?
All right. Thanks, man. And that's the kind of expertise we have at Brad. I mean, like this, that was a thorough presentation. Y'all got that's a lot of information.
All right.
You packed about a whole weekend.
It's a lot in there.
Not a whole weekend, but a whole day in like an hour
Yeah.
and a half. So that's really great, man. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you just like being open and being transparent.
Yeah, this is everything I do in my business, and me and Dan, like we're working on some stuff. Like I said, there's a recording, but we're trying to look. I gave y'all my whole like thing, so y'all got to pay somewhere. Y'all got right. Y'all got to pay somewhere. So we try to come up with a membership, and this will be available in that membership this January. So this will be the first thing inside of that membership. We'll get you details on how to get access to that. But yeah,
we're trying to move BRAC forward, right? And obviously, for any organization, you need capital, you need money. Obviously, I'm using my space and all that sort of stuff. But obviously, to grow, it's going to need capital. And I think that we give a lot of information and opportunity to talk and network with other investors.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
And I was gonna say, I know it's a lot, but if you go, like I had to pack in a lot in like an hour basically, but if you go in and you use the resources and stuff like that, you slow down, you speed up, and click and follow, you can get it done. It's a lot of resources in there for you to click, okay, follow this exactly how I do it. Basically, like I have a course, and basically you got like my entire course is like in there some way if you follow through the links, and it's a natural progression in there. So I know it can be a lot, but you know, you can get business if you employ everything that I'm talking about and use those resources.
And he told me I'm the opposite of a technologist.
Yeah, he ain't gonna need me no more. I gotta stop showing him stuff. Like, God damn.
Of that, and now I'm able to mess around a little bit and run some ads and have a better understanding of how to reach people who may be interested in my boot camps and stuff like that. Next month, quickly, I want to just mention this. We're going to have Ken Lawrence from Sun East Federal Credit Union. He's going to be talking about 6 steps to establishing a new startup business when dealing with banks and lending. So that's going to be next month's meeting. Again, anybody who is interested in helping out with the agenda for this year, please let me know, or let Anisha know. She's a brag member. She's handling that as well. But if you're here, I'm here. Just let me know what part that you guys can play in that agenda and reaching out to the community. Because if we're all involved, it makes it easier. And that's about it. Thanks for coming up.
Is it a thing, like a brag page that people pay for, like